history, that's like totally psychotic to somebody who's trying to lose weight. Okay? Trust the taper. I can't emphasize this enough. Trust the taper. Because your body's used to all this volume, all this intensity. Okay? Now as you start to pull back, your body's going to start to feel better. It's going to feel fresher. And then here comes the worst concern that you'll have on race day. You're going to be ahead of schedule. And you're like, wait, Coach Robb, you just said follow my schedule. Strategy, excuse me. Yeah, your heart rate monitor. But your heart rate monitor, when you're rested, well-fed, hydrated, and you're sticking to your strategy, don't be surprised if on race day you go through mile 1, mile 5, mile 8, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm ahead of schedule. Here's the fear. I'm going too fast. No. If you're racing off your heart rate monitor and you're sticking to your nutrition and you're sticking to your hydration, you're loving life. But there's that little bird on your shoulder, oh, you're going too fast. You're going too fast. If you've trusted your heart rate monitor and you've done it in training, okay, Jose, how much have you guys ladders, negative splits?
We have on Thursdays, we go on track, but only like 4 or 5 people show up.
Okay, that's okay.
So nobody, that's the only, repeats or anything that we do, or unless they do it,
sure,
on their own.
Okay, well let me ask the group then, is anybody not familiar with the term negative split or heart rate ladders? Okay, a negative split would be, let's say you go to a certain point and turn around and come back faster than you went out. Okay, and the goal of those is, let's say that you want to run a 15-minute pace, you go out at 15 and then come back at like say a 14 or a 13:30. So what your body gets acclimated to is on the second half, you're running faster than the first half. Teaches the body to finish stronger than it started. Okay, physiologically what you're doing is, if I want you to race at a 15-minute mile, then I'm going to go to the track and ask you to run 13-minute pace so that 14 feels comfortable because your goal pace is 15. Let me say that again. If you want to race at 15, train at 13 on your speed days, which makes 14 feel easy, which is ahead of your goal pace. Buys you some insurance. So when you get that last 10K or the last 5K, you've been here, your body's like, yeah, this is hard. This is where we get into the psychology of it. If you haven't been there in training, you're never going to know what to do with it on race day. That's why I'm glad you're working with Jose and working with Julie, because the idea here is if you don't test yourself in training beyond the demands of the race, that's where I'm saying you think you're going to play your back pocket, train here, race here, that gap will destroy you. And then all this work that you've done, you're going to finish and go, you know what, I had a horrible race. No, you just didn't race smart is what you did. And don't be offended when I say that. You can't be in the shape that you're in right now. You can't have the run. Is this your last long run for the marathon?
No, we're not tapering that.
Okay, when is your scheduled last long run?
I think it's coming pretty next, yeah.
Okay, because I'm looking at the date. It would need to be this week or next week.
Medium, high, low, and then go higher.
Fair enough.
Today was actually one
A dip down.
Big.
And then what's your next big going to be for marathon? 21.
20 or 21.
And what's the long for the half?
The long before the half?
No, sir. The longest. The
No, long
for the half's like 15, 16.
12. Okay. Okay. Well, what I want to encourage you guys to do is, and I'm not overstepping my bounds as a coach with Jose and Julie, that's the ultimate test. It's your last long run. If you want that confidence in that confidence bank, this is the run to put it together. Wear your exact race outfit, wear your exact shoes, wear the exact socks, the heart rate monitor, have your food. I'm assuming that is supported along the lines? Okay. Something to think about. Are you going to use, Celebration, are they Gatorade? Is there a sports drink?
Celebration?
Is Celebration using Gatorade as their sports drink? They are?
Everybody,
okay.
I don't know what they have.
Okay, so they're using Gatorade, and I know Disney.
I carry my own stuff.
Well, that's the point I'm getting ready to talk about. I think Disney uses Gatorade's Powerade, don't they? Because they're a Coca-Cola pouring facility. I think they use Powerade. Here's my point. If you're not going to use what's on the course, which by the way you should be training with it, even though I encourage you to use my energy fuel, if you're not going to carry it, then you better be training with what's going to be on the course, because you can't run 13 and 26 on no calories. Don't forget that. That's a huge mistake, because if you've never drank 4 ounces of Powerade, you don't know if you're going to get GI issues. You don't have a clue. And you don't, I'm telling you, I've seen this happen over and over again. You like the energy fuel, it works. And then all of a sudden you go to the race day and you're like, well, I'm not going to run with all these flasks. It's 13 miles. Now you hit that first mouthful of Powerade. You have, I mean, it could be an ugly situation. You could be going out this way. You can go out the bottom side. I'm not trying to be rude. It's just the reality of what's happening. You've already got nerves in your gut. Okay. The other side of the coin is if you are going to take the energy fuel on the course, what are you going to do? We were just talking about using a Camelback. That's one of those things you see people running that's in their back that has the straw. As silly as it may look, he's self-sufficient. You're going to go out there for 3, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. What is your strategy? I cannot tell you. We've worked with athletes with Ironman, every marathon on the face of the earth, okay? And what's the number one question that comes up the week of the race? What should I do for nutrition? Seriously? And again, these are supposed, and I'm not just being disrespectful because a lot of you, this is your first race. These are supposed to be people who are experienced. And as much as I talk to them on, you think we talk about this every week, I'm always asking them, what's your sweat rate? What are you doing? What's your average pace? And now all of a sudden the week of the race, you're asking me what you're going to eat the morning of the race? Oops. You can only spoon feed people so much. And at some point you have to recognize it's your responsibility to figure it out. The other thing I want you to think about when it comes to food is don't listen to everybody else. Okay? I've got a client, she does Ironmans. She'll do, for the vegetarians, I apologize up front. She does 4 eggs. She does 2 pieces of Ezekiel bread with cream cheese and honey. Okay? For some people that'd be like, oh, that's a lot of food. Okay? She's very, very petite. Okay? It works great for her. Now you have somebody who doesn't like cream cheese who thinks that's disgusting. Don't listen to other people and what they say. You've got to figure out what works for you. Okay? This is no exaggeration. I have one guy, I call him Billy Goat. It's disgusting. Okay? His specialty is half Ironmans. All right? And he does McDonald's cheeseburgers cold at mile 40 on the bike. He does 2 of them. It works for him. Okay, do I advocate it? No. I don't think it's the best thing on the face of the earth. But that's Brian. It's just that he's just unique that way. My point is don't get hung up on what it looks like, because that's that little negative doubt that you'll start getting. If you're a person that likes coffee and you do the heavy Colombian and somebody else is like, oh, I get GI issues on that, that's their problem, not yours. If it works for you, do it. Don't listen to the negative, especially with the internet nowadays. Everyone's a coach, everyone's a doctor, don't listen to it. Don't drink coffee the morning of the race. And you've been doing it for 9 months going, I don't see the problem. But then all of a sudden you're like, well, should I? Well, wait a second. You've just been doing it. You see how silly this becomes? When you're comfortable like this, it makes sense. But then you're 3 days out from the event and you're just like, oh, you're nervous, you can't sleep. That's why I wanted you guys to get inside your head about, look at your training logs, look at your food logs, follow a strategy. You guys have already done the homework. If you've only got one more long run in you, okay, come into it healthy. I can't advocate enough the soft tissue stuff. It's not hard. If you don't mind me asking, how much did that cost? That's like 35, 40 bucks? 15 bucks. You guys have spent more money on energy gels than that cost, okay? I mean, let's just face it. It's not like it's a $175 item, okay? And just as comfortable as she was sitting there, nothing against TV, but if you're watching TV, you can do it there. If you could be on your phone on a conference call and you've got the the headset, you can do your legs. Think outside the box a little bit, okay? All right, so you guys are all prepared. You guys are going to kill this race, which it doesn't matter what the distance is. It's your journey. It's your story, okay? All of you have overcome a lot to even get. I always joke, it's easy to hit submit button when you register for the race. That's easy, especially when you see Ironman on TV or you watch Boston or New York on TV and you're like, dude, I'm going to do this. Run to the computer, you register, you're one of however many people are at Disney this year, 12,000 people or something, and you got in and you're like, yeah. And then that 5 o'clock alarm comes on the next Monday morning and you're like, I don't know about this. And then the first time you go do a 5-mile run with the group and your legs are so sore the next day you can't get up from the toilet and you're like, I don't know about this. Yeah, we've all been there, You look at what you've overcome. Think about that first run and how sore your legs were and you thought, there is no way I can go 13 or 26 miles. There's no way. And now look at you today. Okay? Think about where you started, think about where you're at, look at where you're at, and look at what you're going to do. So the hard part's over because you've been consistent. That's the number one thing. So I appreciate you guys coming out. I think everybody has my emails and phones. You know, if you do get one of those, you know, 11 o'clock, you're freaking out, call me, okay? And I mean that sincerely. I hope you guys would call. I'm not overstepping my bounds with Jose and Julie, but, you know, if you guys get one of those freak out moments, like, all right, walk me through this, okay? Because I love doing it, all right? And you guys, like I say, you guys are doing the hard work. You guys are the ones putting in the sweat equity. Yes, ma'am?
We did a 10K not too long ago in DeBerry.
Okay.
And you know, you have to get up and you have to leave, and then you get there early, and you have to wait around for the race, and then we were starving.
Yes.
We're like, oh my God. That was my issue though. By about mile 6, I was
Starving, yeah.
Now I'm thinking, okay, we're doing celebration, we're going to get up early, and I'm probably driving that day. They're staying, but
Yep.